In 1921, a thriving black community stood in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was wealthy, organized, and hopeful. People called it Greenwood. Greenwood was known as Black Wall Street. It had banks, hotels, and theaters. Families owned businesses and land. Children went to school. Churches filled on Sundays. Music and laughter filled the streets. In a deeply segregated America, Greenwood was rare. It showed independence and success. It challenged racist beliefs. But success created jealousy, and jealousy created fear. Fear turned into anger. A rumor spread in Tulsa. A young black man was falsely accused. Newspapers made it explosive. Crowds gathered at the courthouse. Whispers became shouting. Tension filled the city. Local authorities failed to calm the crowd. Some officers joined the mob. The city lost control. By nightfall, violence erupted. Homes were attacked. Businesses were burned. Families ran into the streets. Parents carried children. Smoke covered the sky. Gunshots echoed. Fire spread from block to block. Greenwood became a battlefield. Airplanes flew overhead. They dropped burning objects. The destruction grew faster. By morning, Greenwood was destroyed. More than 1,000 homes were gone. Entire blocks vanished. Hundreds were injured. Many were killed. Thousands were homeless. Families searched for loved ones. Children cried for parents. Silence followed screams. No attackers were punished. No justice came. Courts stayed silent. Insurance companies refused payment. The city blamed the victims. Rebuilding was blocked. The massacre vanished from textbooks. Schools never taught it. Newspapers stopped printing it. Survivors were threatened into silence. Fear replaced truth. Memory was buried. Greenwood's wealth was stolen. Generations lost opportunity. Poverty replaced prosperity. The land was taken. Highways were built over it. History was paved over. Time passed. Decades passed. Silence remained. Then survivors began to speak. Old records were found. Truth resurfaced. Mass graves were searched for. Researchers studied documents. Evidence grew. The event received its true name, the Tulsa Race Massacre. America began to listen. Memorials were built. Names were honored. Candles were lit, but justice never arrived. No stolen wealth returned, no punishment given. The massacre became a warning about lies becoming weapons, about fear becoming fire. It showed how racism can destroy cities, how governments can fail, how silence protects crime. Today, Greenwood is remembered, but scars remain. Trust was broken. The massacre is no longer secret, but its effects still exist. Poverty traces its roots here. History matters, because forgetting protects injustice, and remembering protects truth. The massacre America tried to forget became a lesson America could not escape, a reminder of hatred's cost, and remembering it is the first step toward justice and toward healing. Children of survivors asked questions. Why did their families own nothing? Why did their history disappear? Parents struggled to explain. Pain was easier to hide than truth. Silence became inheritance. Schools taught other stories, heroes and victories. Not Greenwood. Maps showed highways and buildings. They did not show ashes. They did not show graves. Some survivors carried memories alone. They remembered flames and fear. They remembered running. They remembered neighbors disappearing. They remembered screams. They remembered smoke. Years later, journalists began asking questions. Historians searched for records. Truth slowly rose from dust. Old photos were uncovered. Eyewitness stories were recorded. Evidence could not be erased. The city faced its reflection, a past it tried to bury, a crime it ignored. Government reports confirmed the truth. The massacre was real. The damage was massive. Still, justice moved slowly. Money was debated. Responsibility was delayed. Survivors aged without compensation. Some died waiting. Their voices faded. The massacre shaped modern inequality. Lost wealth was never rebuilt. Opportunities vanished forever. Neighborhoods around Greenwood struggled. Poverty spread across generations. The wound stayed open. America began teaching the story again. Books were rewritten. Museums were built. Students learned what silence hid. They learned what hate destroyed. They learned what fear allowed. The massacre became a warning about lies becoming law, about mobs becoming monsters. It showed how power can fail, how justice can disappear, how truth can be buried. Remembering is not revenge. It is protection. It is responsibility. History speaks when people listen. Pain becomes warning. Memory becomes shield. The massacre was not just about Greenwood. It was about America and what it chose to hide. It was about race, about fear, about power. It was about what happens when lies travel faster than truth and hate moves faster than law. The massacre America tried to forget became a lesson America must remember, not for shame, but for warning, for justice, for the future. Because when history is erased, violence can return, and silence becomes danger.